welcome back to my channel. My sister is here.
Hi.
For our next episode of our New Year's resolution. I will link the video here for you guys so you can go take a look. At the beginning of 2020, we sat down together and we just kind of mapped out our plan for the next year and all of the things that we wanted to accomplish, different physical goals, mental goals, financial goals, professional goals, and we just talked through each bucket and what small steps we were going to do to accomplish those goals. So we're just going to go over the goals that she is working on and everything that she's doing, and then I'll talk a little bit about mine. Okay, so I have a little black book that I didn't bring with me. I still update it regularly when I reach a specific point in my goals. I also wrote them down in my phone so that I can always have them with me and update them whenever I need to. So I set my goals. There's physical goals, mental goals, professional goals, and financial goals. For my physical goals, I started yoga in October of 2018 and I've been doing it for about 2 years now. I started off really inflexible. I couldn't even cross my legs, couldn't touch my toes at all. I could barely bend over. I was always very stiff. And that's just from years of soccer, years of exercise without properly stretching or taking care of my body in that respect. So in terms of my physical goals, it would be to do front splits completely, do side splits completely, do a complete forward fold, get my heels down in downward dog. My last goal is to not diet for a year. There's an individual I follow on Instagram who has been really inspirational to me.
In 2019, I learned a lesson I didn't know I needed to learn. I was probably the leanest you've ever seen me. I was plagued with the idea that I had to maintain such a lean physique just to gain credibility until I finally cracked.
So basically what I'm here to tell you in this video is that I am going all in.
She started off as a bikini competitor just like I was, and then she got to a point in time where she was just so hungry all of the time. She couldn't control her appetite. She was so hungry, and that's because she was just starving herself. She wasn't eating very much. She was over exercising. So she decided to do an all-in journey, and that's just when she decided to eat whenever she was hungry. She wanted to get her hunger back to a normal level, because I don't think people realize that when you're dieting, you're really putting your body through starvation. And there have been so many studies done on what dieting does to your body, does to your mentality, does to your emotions, and it just has such a negative impact on you just overall as an individual. For me, it manifests itself in that way, in that if somebody asks me, oh, do you want to go for breakfast, or oh, do you want to go for lunch? It's really hard for me to plan to go to brunch, plan to go to lunch. That's just not something that I've ever really let myself do. It creates such a huge mental stress on me, and there's a lot of planning involved in that not a lot of people, or normal people as I would say, would even have to consider. So if you ask me to go for brunch, it's me waking up at a specific time because I know that I'm going to be so hungry, so maybe I can sleep off some of that hunger. You going and exercising a lot right before that brunch, having that brunch, making sure it's not too overboard, so maybe like a few pancakes, maybe yogurt, something lighter on the menu, and then not eating maybe until dinner or way after dinner because I just don't have that many calories to eat. And that would be my life. A few months ago, it would be exercising 3-4 hours a day. On Mondays, I would do a weightlifting workout in the morning, an hour and a half of cardio. I would finish off with an hour or a little bit more of cardio, and then I would do a yoga class. Like I was at the gym for like 4 hours. Anyways, her all-in journey, getting those hunger back to their regular levels. That's kind of what I decided to do. I read a book called The Fuck It Diet, which basically goes through that. How do you get your hunger back to a regular level? How do you get your body back to a regular level so that you can stop eating when you're full and you're not overeating, or you can control yourself? For me, it's eating everything in such a huge quantity that's just not normal. So when I do finally let myself eat, like let's say I'm gonna eat a salad, it's not just a regular salad, right? It's not a salad that you would pick up from the grocery store. It's this monumentous thing. It's this huge thing. It's having these out of control portion sizes when it comes to high volume, low calorie food, not being able to control yourself in certain situations, overeating and then panicking. So yeah, getting my hunger back to its normal levels, which a consequence of that, or a result of that, is gaining weight, because you're just feeding your body when it wants to eat, what it wants to eat, so it stops thinking that it's in starvation mode all the time. That is really why I hired a trainer, just so that they can watch my weight, they can watch my training, and they can watch the food, and we can really do it in a slow way. That's a huge physical goal of mine, to not diet for a year. I know quarantine has been really hard. COVID-19 has hit everybody financially, emotionally, mentally, physically really hard. But for me, it's been really nice to have that time to be by myself and wear comfortable clothing, work out still, eat good food, take care of myself. It's nights out with friends, drinks after work, extra snacks here here and there when I'm hungry, or a cinnamon bun when someone makes it for me. It's not the be all and end all of life. I think that a lot of people want to put a positive stamp on something that they deal with mentally because we're told that that's how you're supposed to deal with it. But for me, it's not putting a happy sticker on feeling like shit. It's just sitting in that shit, feeling like fucking shit, feeling crappy and absorbing it and then moving on, because that's the only way you're gonna deal with it. Like breakups and everything like that, if you feel like crap, the only way you're gonna deal with it is just to feel like crap, go through it, and then move on. It's not being like, oh, I'm gonna turn my frown upside down and move on. Me right now, if I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror and I don't like how I look, just feeling that. I'm not happy with the extra fat here, I'm not happy with the extra fat there. But then you know what? Instead of pretending that I'm happy when I'm not happy, in 2 months from now, I will be happy and I won't have to pretend or slap a sticker on it because I'll have gone through all of that period of time of feeling like crap and moving on. Just moving on because it's life. So my mental goals were to control my food issues and read 1 book every 2 months. I try to tie in multiple goals together. I've been reading books in the area of body imaging just so that I can tie those 2 goals together. So I read a bunch of books in January. There was a lot of free time. It was freezing cold if you're in Edmonton and you remember that. So in January I read Braving the Wilderness by BRENÉ Brown, Catch and Kill by Ronan Farrell, The Fuck It Diet by Carolyn Dooner, Somewhere Inside by Laura and Lisa Lang, and Things No One Will Tell Fat Girls by Jess Baker. So that's 5. I will reach that 6 out of 6 books for a year. In terms of my professional goals, I do want to obtain an associate position at the firm that I'm currently at now, and with COVID-19 it is hard to say if that's going to happen. Things are a little bit uncertain. I do really love the job that I'm at now. I think that they treat everybody like a family, so I am hoping that I'll be able to stay strong through this and come out in the end, and then I'll get an associate position there. Just trying to remain positive through that, do the most work that I can because I am working from home, keep up with that and hope for the best. In terms of my professional goals, I also want to volunteer for an organization called LEAF, which is Women's Legal Education Fund. I have been volunteering for them by attending their executive meetings, and I was just contacted by a member who asked me to be the secretary of that group. I'm excited to see where that goes later on this year. So I have accomplished that goal so far. And in terms of my professional goals, growing my Instagram as well, I am going to be taking it into a different area and do a different kind of route from what I've been doing, but so far so good. I've almost reached my goal of having 2,000 followers. It's a very low goal. I just wanted to start low and then build up from there. And in terms of my financial goals, were to pay off my student loans. I moved to Saskatchewan to do my first year of law school there, and paying for their tuition was quite expensive. I think it was about $13,000, and then I had to pay to live on campus, so that year was quite expensive for me. But then after that, I moved back to Edmonton, where I got to finish my law degree at the University of Alberta. So when I finished law school, I had about, I want to say almost $40,000, and I should be paying it off in the next 4, 5, 6 months, depending on how the coronavirus is. I'm very close to finishing that goal, and I'll be happy when I'm debt-free and that's no longer a worry of mine. So yeah. Right now it's my turn to talk about my goals. So let's talk about first my physical goals. So in the beginning, I think it was more November 2019, I started to go onto a bulk. So I decided to increase my calories over time, making sure that I didn't gain weight too quickly. And I really watched the way that my body responded to food, and I increased accordingly. I started in the summertime around 135 pounds, and I had stayed there. Wow. I had stayed there for quite a while. So after Devin and I had gone to Seattle and to Chicago, I came home and I had gained about 4 or 5 pounds, and I wasn't feeling really comfortable at all. So I decided, okay, well, I can't turn around and diet again, because if I start dieting, I'll have eaten 600 calories a day, and then where do you diet from? You're basically just eating a lot of your muscle tissue, and you're going to feel starving, and it's not going to be comfortable for you. You won't be able to go out and do the things that you want to do, spend time with your family, and not have that added anxiety and that added pressure. Plus the over-exercising usually comes into play after that. You'll start to think that you have to do the cardio because that's the only way that you'll lose the weight, and so it's not very good for muscle development. It didn't seem like an option for me. I had just gotten back from these vacations, and I was like, okay, I want to see how much food I can eat and be able to eat and be able to grow, and how much muscle I can develop, so that a few months before the summertime I can kind of cut back on the amount of food I'm eating and then go from there. So I was able to get up my calories to about 3,000 or so. My main goal for my physical goals was to start that cutting phase and then take weekly progress photos. So far it's been good. I've lost about 3 pounds. I do see less bloatedness, that my face is kind of leaning out a little bit more. I want to keep my calories as high as possible during this because I don't want to end up feeling like I'm starving, depriving myself of the things that I had just worked so hard towards, going out with friends and family and not worrying about anything, not having that fear where I have to hoard my macros. You guys see my oatmeal on Instagram. I love it, and it's like 500 calories. So if I'm having that at like 6 a.m., I'm definitely not hoarding calories because then I would make it for the rest of the day on that, okay? I'm starting to try more yoga. My sister is doing her yoga journey. I've been following along with her and she's been showing me some stretches. It's gonna help me a lot with my working out, flexibility, not be as sore because I do wake up from my workout sometimes and I'm like, oh my god, my body sucks. So obviously with this whole coronavirus thing, it's very difficult to get to the gym. I'm gonna kind of link that to my social media where I'm increasing my social media by spending more time documenting workouts, talking about food, growing my following that way, and kind of using this time that I have off. I still work at Starbucks. They gave us 30 days with pay, so I decided that I was going to stay at home and kind of dedicate more time to making workout videos. So yeah, that's where we're going with social media. In terms of mental health and in terms of my mental goals, I did end up seeing a therapist. Oh my gosh. I did end up seeing a therapist about 4 weeks ago, I think it's 4 weeks ago. We kind of talked about my fear of like grasshoppers, blood, getting needles, anything really. I'm afraid of a lot of things. I haven't been able to obviously go and see her because they're only doing virtual therapy sessions, and so the virtual reality is what the next session was going to be, so it's obviously very difficult if you don't have the equipment. So that is going to be put on hold for a little bit. My therapist said the best way to deal with your fears is to confront them, and so for things like needles and stuff, if I'm not sick, I'm not going to go to the doctor to get a rec form to like get my blood taken and stuff like that, so that will have to just be pushing myself, get a rec form, go that day. So I'm going to definitely work on that for the rest of 2020 because I think this will be a really tough year for everybody. We'll all get through it together. Just stay safe with your animals. Love your people from a distance. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next video. See ya, bye.